The current paradox in American culture, according to what I know, there exists a stark contrast in the way American society engages with political discourse versus how it embraces cultural spectacles like the Super Bowl. This conflict is not merely confined to political debates but reflects a deeper cultural attitude where expressions of dissatisfaction with leadership and governance coexist with an unabashed enthusiasm for entertainment and communal sporting events. On one hand, many Americans voice opinions intensely, sometimes even unruly and provocative, in response to political decisions that have wide-ranging global impacts, including the election of leaders whose policies may contradict long-held ideals. On the other hand, large segments of the population appear to prioritize the celebration of national traditions, most notably through events such as the Super Bowl, which serve as a unifying ritual and a diversion from the often complex realities of political life. Political expression versus cultural enjoyment. According to the information provided, American political expression has become extraordinarily polarized and sensationalized. The public debate, both online and in traditional media outlets, frequently takes on a tone that is at once irreverent and confrontational. Observers, including many non-Americans on various platforms, have noted with a mix of incredulity and pity how Americans seem to indulge in spirited political commentary, scrutinizing every aspect of governance, with little acknowledgement of the consequences that such polarization may propagate globally. This behavior is compounded by a self-referential comfort. Critics may decry the unrestrained nature of American debates while simultaneously celebrating national achievements in areas such as sports. In contrast, the cultural fixation on events like the Super Bowl represents a profound aspect of American communal life. For many, this event transcends hemispheric divisions by fostering a temporary, yet intense, national camaraderie. The spectacle is not merely a display of athletic prowess but an annual affirmation of a shared identity. Unfortunately, it also exemplifies a disconnect. While sincere political critique is often mired in contentious rhetoric, collective enjoyment of sport seems to offer an escape from scrutinizing political missteps. Many citizens find solace and unity in the festive atmosphere of the Super Bowl, even if it means overlooking critical reflections on the political processes that have allowed the election of leaders whose actions might adversely affect communities both at home and abroad. The remedial and toxic aspects of American culture. According to what I know, this dichotomy, vigorous political criticism alongside an unwavering enjoyment of certain cultural practices, highlights a remedial aspect in American society. On one hand, there exists a hopeful possibility. The capacity for self-critique might spur demands for accountability, reform, and a reconsideration of democratic participation. On the other hand, the tendency to elevate entertainment and culture, sometimes even above civic engagement, may contribute to an unhealthy, toxic environment where citizens become more enamored with spectacle than with the serious assessment and rigorous participation that democracy requires. The phenomenon reflects structural trends that have been observed in global politics. The disjunction between lively public discourse on governance and the consumption of national entertainment media can contribute to passivity in the political arena. Such behavior risks reinforcing a cycle where the fervor of political debate is ultimately sidelined by a cultural narrative that emphasizes unity through diversion rather than through engaged self-reflection and corrective action. In effect, this cycle may unwittingly bolster systems where narratives of self-praise are easier to cultivate than those demanding accountability, thus allowing political missteps to persist even as the masses rally around cultural symbols, such as the Super Bowl, that serve as a temporary salve for collective disillusionment. Implications for global politics and domestic reform. According to the information provided, the repercussions of this cultural attitude extend well beyond America's borders. Citizens' predisposition to celebrate entertainment while vocalizing political dissent in a highly charged and sometimes unruly manner can inadvertently contribute to political outcomes with global ramifications. The tendency to engage more deeply in communal symbolisms, like the elaborate rituals surrounding American sports, over politically constructive debate may result in a diminished capacity to prevent or rectify electoral choices that lead to controversial governance. As nations around the world observe these developments, the perception of American democracy sometimes shifts from one of idealistic uniqueness to an image marked by theatrical political discourse and cultural escapism. Moreover, this trend suggests a potential need for remedial cultural introspection. The unhealthy, toxic nature of these cultural practices might eventually inspire voices calling for an improved balance between entertainment and civic responsibility. A reorientation toward reflective democracy, where robust political debate is complemented by civic engagement rather than overshadowed by spectacle, could foster a more sustained and thoughtful approach to national self-governance. In so doing, America might better align its celebrated cultural unity with the deeper democratic principles enshrined in its founding documents. Conclusion: according to what I know, the sad reality in American culture is a paradox of passionate political criticism and revelry in mass entertainment. It is a society unafraid to voice its dissatisfaction with political developments using bold and unruly rhetoric, yet at the same time, it finds refuge and identity in the collective celebration of events like the Super Bowl. This duality, a potent mix of political discontent and cultural exhilaration, exemplifies both the remedy and the toxicity inherent in the national character. Such a cultural split poses significant challenges for fostering a politically accountable, reflective, and healthy society. The future may well depend on finding a way to reconcile national pride in cultural traditions with the need for a more thoughtful, engaged approach to the democratic process.